My name is Daniel Moore, and this is M3, Move, Manipulate, and Meditate, something along those lines. And we're going to start with all three of those things, but today we're going to also focus on mobilizing, strengthening, and stretching. And the three primary areas that we'll focus on, good morning, Catherine. Three areas we'll be focusing on today will be the spine, shoulders, and hips, plural. Hopefully you got two of those. And so without further ado, I guess let's get this show on the road. Jay, good morning. Good to see you this morning. All right, so normally I like to do a supine check-in session, but today we're going to start our check-in session from a seated position. So let's go ahead and get started and find yourself in a nice, comfortable seated position on your floor or on a mat, on a rug, whatever you got. You can start in a cross-leg position, just like so. And the first thing we're going to do is just kind of waddle back and forth on our sit bones, just to find exactly where those things are and see if we can kind of situate the lumbar spine a little bit forward. So we're kind of taking our belly button or our shirt right here in the bottom and just kind of pulling it forward just a little bit. So you don't want to be too far forward, but you also don't want to be rounded through the back. So press through the crown of the head, and that should fix that quite nicely. And then imagine you're spreading yourself wide across a wall. We're just going to start with some nice, gentle diaphragmatic breathing. So as you breathe in, just let go of any tension in your abdomen. And then as you exhale, exhale very slow and very long. Just allow your thoughts to ride your breath as you exhale. So your muscles are active just enough to keep you nice and buoyant and light through the spine, but not so much that you're holding tension. So you really want to let that belly just kind of drop out. Let the belly come out as you breathe. Really see if you can expand those lower ribs, front, sides, and back to fill those lungs completely. And then as you exhale, slow and long every time. Okay, let's breathe in again. Exhale slowly. From here, you're going to take both hands, place them in the base of your skull, right behind your ears. You're just going to take your fingers and just kind of massage the base of the skull. I'm going to turn around just so you can see this a little bit better. Right in through here. Nice and relaxed. Beautiful. You can add some gentle mobilizations here. Just noticing the quality of moving the spine. And also make sure to imagine and visualize all of the tissues healthy and strong. Visualize your spine beautiful, healthy, vibrant, and strong. Take your hands, you can either take it into the scalp, or you can take it into the side, or you can take it into the front side of the neck. So from here, we're going to stroke just down through the side of the neck and end in the sternum. So we're going to start on the side of the neck, strokes down through the sternum and into the abdomen. Nice and easy. Make sure that while you do this, you're breathing very deeply and expansively as you go. Okay, from here, you're going to lift one arm above the head and you're going to massage into the armpit. You can start to add some rotations through the spine, perhaps even reaching through the fingertips. Just really opening up the front side of the shoulder, softening some of those muscles that get short and tight as we type on the computer all day or whatever it is that we're doing, driving. Just kind of open and soften that out. Let's go ahead and switch sides. So just reach up towards the ceiling, nice and strong and long. reaching through each one of the fingertips. You can really emphasize the reach through each one of the fingertips as you reach, and then just massaging both into the lymph nodes into the armpit, which again helps with inflammation. And then we can also work with our nervous system to soften the tissues that could be compressing our nerves as it goes from the neck and into the shoulder. Okay, from here, let's go ahead and lie down on our back. We'll add some gentle massage for the hips. So you can bend one knee, one leg will be straight, and you're just going to massage. I'm turning sideways just so you can see, but you're just massaging on the front and the back sides of the hip. Nice and gentle, nice and easy. It doesn't matter how you're doing it. The idea is to take that baseline suggestion and then make it work for you. Just massaging into those tissues, remembering that massaging the tissues helps to wake up the nerves and prepare the body for movement. And it's very, very important, especially right before any strenuous activity. You want to get into the habit of massaging through the tissue. Let's take it all the way down into the foot. Nice and just vigorous, just kind of taking your fingers into the bottom of your foot, kind of squeezing into the toes, maybe even move things around a little bit, mobilize the foot. With those toes woken up, maybe even get your fingers in between your toes and work that out there. Endless options. Which side? Same thing. Again, just kind of taking the stroke into the leg, just adding whatever approach or technique or massage style that you want to use. You're just kind of massaging and waking up those nerves, getting everything ready. And even while I'm massaging my foot, my attention's also on my other foot now as I'm kind of like just grabbing into the ground and putting pressure or a load into my foot from different directions. And that's very good as well. Nice and easy. And we can come back to a seated position just so we can add the arm real quick. Just notice what that feels like to massage into the fingers, interlace the fingers, massaging the webbing, all the way up through the arm, both sides, kind of like a dry shower. Work your way all the way through all the tissues. Okay, so our first movement for today, we're going to go right into some rocking. So we're going to mobilize, starting with the spine. So from a seated position, all you're going to do is rock back and rock back up to an upright seated position. So we're going to round through the spine, lower ourselves down slowly, come back, and right back up, perhaps even add a reach. Okay, so just simple, nice and easy. And this is a gentle mobilization just to kind of get us started. So you're feeling each vertebrae relax into the ground one at a time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And so on. Okay, so just nice and easy, rock it back. You might hear some gentle cracking or popping, and that's okay. You can add a reach towards the ceiling, one arm at a time. You can change your leg position as you come up. You can straighten one leg bent. And so this is really great for massaging the muscles that line the spine. So you have your erector spinae muscles. Very, very good for massaging. And you can just come right forward and back. You don't need to have to pop right up. You can change your position on the ground and moving around a little bit as you rock. Just getting into the habit of creating a functional workout. Each thing that we practice today could be used throughout your daily life. And hopefully it is. Okay, so let's come to a seated position. We'll have one leg bent in front, one leg bent in back. We call this side bend sit. So from your side bend sit, we're going to rock back and do a side bend sit with the other leg forward. So all we do is we rock back, switch. Now I'm in side bend sit the other way. So nice and easy, rock back, come up, and really press your legs gently into the ground so you can feel that if at any moment I wanted to kind of come up and even get to a standing position, I could do that. So it's just all hips and leg motion. Rock back, side bend sit, rock back, side bend sit. You can add arm support if you like, kind of add to the movement wherever you feel the need. And of course, just like always, making sure to modify any of these techniques to work for you and make sure that they're safe. Rock it back, side bend sit. It's a nice, gentle hip opener. Make sure that you're breathing deeply throughout the whole process. So really emphasize the breathing throughout this whole workout today. Okay, so from here, from our side bend sit, we're just going to add some reaching with the arm. So you're going to post one arm into the ground. I'm going to take the other arm and I'm going to reach underneath, over, and then back around the other way and up towards the ceiling. Now I'm going to switch to the other side. So now I have side bend sit for the other side. And all I'm going to do is post an arm, reach under, reach over, back, reach above. So these are just shoulder mobilizations to get reaching throughout our environment in different ways. So even though the emphasis is the shoulder, we can always bring our attention into the other body parts that are mobilizing or moving as well. So that would be hips, that would be the spine, reach, reach, reach. Just think about bringing your shoulder through as many ranges of motion as you possibly can. And you're reaching through each one of the fingertips to change the vector and the tissue activation. Remember, especially when you get into those positions where you kind of find yourself holding your breath, you want to make sure that you're breathing deeply and expansively. Reach over there. Bring some imagination into it. What could you be reaching for when you're sitting in the ground? Okay, so from here, we're going to go into a knee-hand tabletop position, so on hands and knees. And we're going to do a spinal wave. So what that means is we're going to do maybe a little cat and cow, so flexion and extension. We're also going to add some lateral flexion as we go. So remember, the goal of this movement is spinal mobilization. So you're adding all the little macro or the bigger macro movements, but also adding micro movements. So really bringing your attention into the slightest movement of your spine, letting go of unnecessary tension so that each part of your spine moves fluidly. So the whole spine should be moving in a very similar way. Sometimes we have parts of our spine that are harboring symptoms from poor body mechanics, perhaps an old injury, perhaps systemic or organ-oriented inflammation. There are a lot of reasons why certain parts of our spine might not be as happy as other parts. So you really want to make sure that you're spending some time just really opening up that spine, feeling each part of your spine, developing a relationship with each part of your spine. So it's relaxed, but it's not sleeping. There's an activity, an active relaxation, if you will. Nice and slow, nice and strong. Okay, now from here, let's go ahead and bring one of our legs forward. We'll go back into our side bend sit position. Nice and strong. Here we are. So we're going to do some hip swivels. So you can post some arms behind you and swivel your knees to the other side. Or you can take your arms out of it. The choice is yours. You can add a press through the glutes to come to a split kneeling position. Or you could just keep it simple and just slowly rotate or move, swivel your knees from side to side. So this is for the hips. You can keep your legs closer to your body. So it's like put your feet real close to your rear. Or you can take your legs further out. You can try any variation of the two. Make sure that you're breathing while you go. Make sure your spine feels nice and relaxed and soft. Breathing deeply and expansively, perhaps bringing into mind something that you're thankful for this morning. I always like to add little variations that, you might call like artistic or creative or playful. Those are really good things to consider when you want to make your movement or your exercise really productive. Okay, so from here, we're going to go into from our side bend sit, we're going to lower one forearm to the ground. We're going to do some reaching from here. So this is a shoulder mode. So remember, the focus is shoulder mobilization. We're going to practice reaching forward, reaching behind, reaching up towards the ceiling, reaching under in between the posted forearm and your body, reaching over. So whatever variation you can think of, just think of how many different ways you could possibly move your shoulder. Okay, let's switch sides. So side bend sit to the other side, same exact thing. So reach towards the ceiling, reach forward. You could, again, focus on reaching through each one of the fingers. Breathing while you go. And adding as many variations as you can possibly think of. Remember, when you feel those positions that kind of make you go, that's when you really want to focus on breathing. And that helps to facilitate more efficiency with your movement. Nice and strong, nice and loose. It's more of a light type of a mobilization. It's not like, really tensing and flexing, but really more just feeling the fluidity and the mobility of the shoulder joint. Okay, so from here, we're going to go into our seated position and we'll go back into our spine and focus on doing the spinal wave from this position here. So we can start with a little lateral wave if you like. So just kind of imagining listening to your favorite music, whatever it is. Perhaps you like to imagine yourself like sea kelp. It's called sea kelp. Any of that stuff in the ocean that kind of, gracefully moves from side to side. Okay, and then from here we can send a wave starting with the lower part of the spine, and then the chest and the chin. So adding some nice gentle movements this way. We can also go the other way. So we're leading with the upper back. And then a combination of all the above. Sometimes I'll take my hands on the bottom of my ribs because your ribs are connected to your thoracic spine. So if my ribs are moving, then that's the way I know my thoracic spine is moving also. And that tends to be a place that we harbor a lot of emotional tension between about the base of the neck and the both ribs. Whatever variation works for you, you're exploring sensations of the spine as it moves. So you really want to emphasize that feel-good principle, focusing on feeling good through the spine, nice and relaxed through the spine. And that's all good. Okay, so from here, we're going to come into our foot or our knee-hand position, so your tabletop position again. And we're going to go back into mobilizing our hip. So we're going to start with our toes flexed. Our hands are under our shoulders. From here, you're going to draw your belly button towards your spine so that you keep your spine in a nice, strong, stable position. You're going to extend the hip, bring it out to the side, bring it back, add some gentle circles. Remember what the goal is. The goal is to mobilize the hip. Perhaps imagining stepping over an obstacle. You can go a little slower. You can go a little faster. You can straighten out the leg to the side. Perhaps I want to step over something and put my weight into this other leg. Nice and easy, nice and strong. Especially emphasizing this extension piece here and maintaining that belly button drawn towards the spine so that you're nice and strong through the core. Let's go ahead and switch sides. So if you start to feel some cracking and popping, like all of a sudden my hips like starting to crack and pop. So what I want to do is I kind of want to play around with different positions to see if something's maybe, you know, getting hung up, or perhaps the joint isn't in its ideal centrated position. So I'm going to use movement as a way to recenter my joint. Nice and slow, nice and strong. Okay, so from here we're going to go into a kneeling position just to keep it simple, and we're going to do some figure 8 movements with our shoulder. So you're just going to draw an 8 in the air with your shoulder. Notice all the different variations in different angles that you can bring your shoulder to. If you want, you can do both arms at the same time. But remember to keep your shoulder in the forefront of your mind, because the shoulder is the joint that we're mobilizing or emphasizing. Breathe as you go. Perhaps you want to change your position. Change your speed a little bit. Make sure to change or to switch arms. And it could be a little bit of a whipping type action, just as long as you're doing it within your tissue's range and elastic capacity. So many different variations that we can incorporate. It's a figure 8, simple. Okay, let's start to focus on a little bit of strengthening exercises. Let's lower ourselves down onto our stomachs, please. We're going to start with some prone extensions. So what that means is I'm going to have my hands down by my ribs. And what I want to do is I want to contract my glutes first. So you're going to press your hips into the ground. From here, I'm going to extend by pressing through the crown of my head. And I'm just going to lift my hands up off the ground, just like so. Once I'm in this position, I want to make sure I'm breathing nice and expansively through the whole rib cage. So this is really good for offsetting, again, some of the effects of sitting all the time. Nice and easy. If you want to add to the intensity, you can take your arms in front of the body. Make sure that you maintain that contraction in the glutes, because you want your glutes to stay active as a nice base of support for the whole spine. Sometimes I'll even imagine doing some swimming from this position just so that I can add some dynamics using the shoulders. Breathing deeply and expansively. You'll notice that the back muscles are activated in a different way when I bring my arms back behind versus bringing my arms forward. Perhaps a breaststroke. Okay, so from here, I'm going to lower my arms down, shake my hips or rock my hips from side to side just to kind of relax any unnecessary tension that might have developed there. And now we're going to move into some, what we might call a step over, or a prone step over. So what we're going to do is, we're going to squeeze the glutes, bend one knee, reach that leg over, touch the ground, and then come right back into our prone position. So again, squeeze the glutes, bend the knee, reach that leg up and over, touch the ground, get that foot on the ground. If you can touch with the toes, great. If you can get your full flat foot on the ground, great. And then come right back. Switch sides. So again, squeeze the glutes, bend the knee, reach the leg over, touch the ground, breathe. Come right back. Switch sides. So every time you come to the center, let go. Squeeze, bend, reach, come back. Relax. Squeeze, bend, reach, come back. Squeeze, bend, reach, come back. Relax. Squeeze, bend, reach, come back. Relax. Okay, 2 more times. Squeeze, bend, reach, come back, relax, and squeeze, bend, reach. One last time. Okay. So from here, we're going to stay in this position and we're going to start to incorporate push-ups. So we're going to start with our hand, one hand down by the rib cage, and one hand is going to be more oriented towards the front. And all you're going to do is you're going to press through that arm and look behind you and lower yourself down. Switch sides. So I'm going to press up, look behind, and then lower myself back down, switch sides. Now if you want to make this more intense, you can take the whole body up, look behind, lower yourself down, switch sides. So I can either press up so that I'm on my forearm, or I can press up using this, nice staggered hand position and try it that way as well. So the goal is to do your push-up, and whichever approach you decide to use, just make sure that you're drawing your belly button towards your spine, so that way as you press yourself up, you're nice and stable through the whole back. Lower yourself down. So just really emphasizing and keeping a nice shoulder position here. So you don't want your shoulder dipping forward. You also don't want it too far back. You want it somewhere in the middle. Keep a nice stable shoulder and then press through that stable shoulder and lower yourself down. So really, probably more than anything else, That's something that you want to focus on. Okay, so from here, let's roll back onto our backside, please. We're going to use some rocking and come up to a V-sit position. So we're going to rock forward and back, nice and easy. And when you're ready, come up to either a position with your knees bent or with your legs straight. And we're going to just pause and balance here. Try to press through the crown of the head, opening up through the chest. And then when you're ready, lower yourself back into your rocking. And again, you can add some movement with your rocking. And when you're ready, come up to that nice either V-sit position or this position here. Breathing deeply and expansively, feeling the strength of the whole body working together as a whole, and then rock it down. Breathe as you go. And then come right up. Hold in that position. Breathe. And then lower it down. Balance, control, work as hard or as little as you like. Choice is yours. Okay, so from here, let's go ahead and come to a standing position, please. We're going to do a little bit of good mornings or hip hinges. So with your feet roughly shoulder width apart, you're going to create a nice neutral spine by pressing through the crown of the head. And all we're going to do is we're going to drop our hips back ever so slightly, keeping a nice neutral spine. And you're going to feel a beautiful stretch on the back side of the legs. But also make sure, touch your glutes, make sure that those things are active. And then we're just going to press through those hips to come back to standing. Let's do that again. So hinging forward at the waist. Imagining separating those sit bones. Nice and strong. Your belly button is drawn towards your spine. When you're ready, come right back up. So again, the speed is up to you. You can go as slow or as fast as you like. As long as you focus on form and quality, then we can move on to quantity. So quality first, then going to our quantity aspect. You can add little variations if you like. Sometimes I like to bend one knee at a time. Lower it down a little bit, change my position, walk it out. Ready? Perhaps someone imagine reaching to pick something up. Recruiting and contracting those abdominal muscles to keep that nice and stable, neutral spine. Nice and easy, nice and strong. Okay, so from here, let's lower ourselves back down into a plank position on your forearms. This one's going to be lots of fun. So we're in a plank position. Now, if this is too rough, go ahead and lower your knees down to the ground. If this is reasonable, go ahead and do that. From here, we're just going to reach through the shoulder. So there's strength in the stability of the supporting arm, and there's strength through the reaching arm. You can reach up, you can reach behind, you can reach in any number of directions. But just make sure those abdominal muscles, the belly button, is being drawn towards the spine. Let's switch sides. So if you want to make it harder, keep your feet closer together. If you want to make it a little easier, take your legs a little further apart. And in either case, make sure that spine is nice and strong. Nice and strong. switch. Make sure that your shoulder is directly over your elbow. Switch at your own speed. Okay. So from here, going back into our spine, we're going to go back onto our backside, and we're going to do some lateral crunches. So get onto your sit bones, on your butt. First of all, from this seated position, draw your belly button towards your spine as we get ourselves onto our sit bones. From here, you're just going to lift one sit bone up at a time. So there's a lateral crunch. So nice and strong. This is a great way to massage your ascending and descending colon. A lot of times we develop issues in the body and in the organs because of stagnation. So we can use our movement practice as a way to massage our internal organs. So this is a great way. If you can imagine, when you sit for a long period of time, or maybe, God forbid, you're in a hospital bed, you're not getting any outside movement to assist the body with what it's doing on the inside. So hang in there, nice and strong. Keep it going. Remember, this is the strengthen part of our workout today, so this should be challenging. This should be like, to some degree. Just lifting one sit bone up at a time. Okay, 10 more seconds, guys. Come on, hang in there. Hang in there with me. Breathe. Yes. This is the one. 4, 3, 2. All right, put it down. Woo, breathe it out. I hope that was as hard for you as it was for me. Okay, so from this position here, we're going to come into a squat position. So your squat position could either be on flat foot or on the balls of your foot, whatever position is most comfortable for you. And what we're going to do is a combination of squats and lateral lunges. So I'm just going to drop my weight from side to side. If I can take my hands out of it, that's great. If I want to use my hands just to improve on the quality of my squat, if I want to bring my feet closer together as I press through a couple beautiful squats here, I really want to focus on getting those hips working. These are the big muscles. These are the ones that tend to become weak, again, as a result of poor movement habits or inefficient movement patterns, ineffective movement patterns, whatever it might be. So you want to make sure that your exercise strengthens some of these bigger, unused muscles. You want to practice getting low into your squat, but within comfort. So this shouldn't be painful. If it is painful, modify your technique by decreasing the range of motion or the speed. So right now you're either doing squats or lateral lunges. Okay, so from here, our last shoulder strengthening exercise is going to be from a foot hand or a knee hand crawl, and we're going to transition into inverted crawl. So from a crawling position, if you can, lift your knees up off the ground. From here, I'm going to take opposite arm, opposite foot off the ground, and I'm going to pass this leg underneath. So now I'm in inverted crawl. Opposite arm, opposite leg, right back into your foot hand crawl. Okay, you can try doing the other side. You can go as fast or as slow as you like. You can also try another variation. So from your foot hand crawl, you can also reach over. Make it as fun as you can, as creative as you can. Breathe while you go. Nice and relaxed but strong. Breathing deeply and expansively as you go. Okay, guys. Let's do a little bit of stretching, shall we? So, from here, from this position, we're going to use a combination of Cobra pose and Child's pose. So let's get into a nice, gentle Cobra pose by lowering your hips towards the ground. So from here, you want to assess the quality of the extension in your spine. Sometimes we feel it in one place more than another. And I want to encourage you to distribute the load or the sensations throughout the whole spine. From here, I'm going to draw my belly button towards my spine, drop my glutes back over my heels, child's pose. But I'm not resting. What I'm doing is I'm lifting my palms up off the ground, and I'm sending some gentle waves of movement through the whole spine. So yes, it's a bit of a stretch, but it's really more of an active stretch where you're exploring and mining for sensations of stretch. Okay, let's send a wave of motion from the mid-back forward back into Cobra. And add some nice gentle undulations of the spine while you're here, pressing down into the ground, opening up the chest. You can even hike one hip up at a time. It just accentuates the lateral flexion piece. And one more time, draw the belly button to the spine, child's pose. Again, nice and easy, nice and relaxed. Okay, so from here, we're going to press ourselves into tall kneeling and do some step out lunges. So if you want to use a pillow under your knees, you can. You don't have to, but I just like to from time to time. So what we're doing is we're going to stabilize by contracting through the glutes. We're going to lift one leg up with control, step out in front. And before you bring your body weight forward, make sure your abdominal muscles are contracted, so your belly button is drawn to the spine, and your butt is kind of tucked underneath, because we really want to feel the stretch in the front side of that back leg. So this is where we should be feeling that stretch. You lower yourself down. You can even open up the hip, moving. You can see my leg went from a neutral position to an externally rotated position. That just adds another variable. Okay, I'm going to bring my leg back, nice and controlled, switch sides. Step out, and again, get myself into position first, long, pressing through the front of the head, drawing the abdominal muscles towards the spine, squeezing through the glute, tucking that butt underneath, and getting that nice, gentle opening of the hip. And again, you can use some external rotation, just kind of opening up that back leg and exploring different vectors, different angles, nice and easy. Okay, so from here, we'll step out with the other leg, and now we're going to move into some rotational reaches with the arm. So you can take your hands in towards your sternum, and you're just going to reach one arm behind, come back to center, rotate the other direction, reach behind. Inhale, exhale when you're in these stretch positions. Back. Let's bring this front leg back. Switch sides. So bring the other leg forward. Bring my hands in towards the center. Reach back with the arm. My legs are active and strong, so I'm really grabbing into the ground with the front leg, even with that back leg. So the reach is accentuating the shoulder, but it's activating the whole. Bring it back to center after you breathe. Reach back the other direction. You see this is like a hip shoulder stretch combo, even spine really. Nice and strong. As you breathe in, press through the crown of the head. As you exhale, maybe go deeper into your rotation twist with your reach. Bring the arm back. Let's go ahead and bring that front leg back. Perhaps come out to another angle, but still a nice lunge. Hands in towards the chest. Reach. And again, you see my back foot's active, and at any time I need to stand up and get out, get going, I can do that. And sometimes I like to practice that just to make sure that every movement that I practice has a functional aspect to it. Okay. Whew. All right, so from here, we're going to go back into a low kneeling position. We're going to reach one hand towards the ceiling, and you want to see how far you can reach. And what happens is, you'll notice my spine starts to laterally flex as I reach up towards the ceiling. From here, I can add some rotation, both through my shoulder or my arm bones, and also through the spine. But just imagine there's something really high that you're trying to reach for. Perhaps it's a goal that you have in your life. Just imagine reaching for it and imagine drawing it to you with the force and just really extend through your fingers, through your shoulders, nice and strong reach. So you can add kind of lowering your body towards the ground. Remember that this is a kind of a stretch for the spine, and it's a lateral stretch of the spine. So even though I'm reaching with my arm, I'm also bringing my attention into my spine and feeling the sensations of my spine. If something feels sketchy, first celebrate. Like, oh, I'm so glad my body is wired literally to tell me when something needs a little more attention, and then just modify your approach. It's that simple. Okay. So from here, we're going to go back into our tall kneeling step outs. This time we're going to emphasize stepping out in different directions. So I'm going to come to my tall kneeling. I'm going to step out in front. I can step across. And notice what happens to the sensations in that front leg as you reach across. If you start to go, oh, I can feel a nice gentle stretch there. Perhaps explore that just a little bit. Perhaps drop your weight back down over the other heel. Bring your weight forward. Just explore what those sensations feel like in the posterior hip. You step out this way, to the side, to the front. And each time, see if you can place your foot down quietly. Okay, bring that leg back, switch it up. So I could go forward, cross. I want those toes to move and to be active into the ground. I want to feel my body strong, feel able to push myself out of positions, into positions, do as many different variations within these positions as you can. Because remember, this is focusing on a little bit more of an active stretch now. Okay, let's bring that leg back, switch sides one more time. Bring it out front. Perhaps bring it to the back. Bring it across. Okay, switch sides one more time. forward, cross, back, whatever you like. Okay, guys, let's go ahead and lay on our stomach. From here, we're going to focus on stretching through the shoulder. So the forearms, we're going to be posted up on our forearms. You're going to take that one arm across the body, other palm goes towards the ceiling, reach behind, opening up the front side of the chest. So this is where you want to make sure that you're breathing. You want to make sure that as you start to lengthen through the tissues, that you encourage the body and really let the body know that this is safe. And we do that by breathing. You can even add a smile, see what happens. It won't hurt. Smiling is contagious, not just for others, but also within your body. When you smile, your body goes, oh, maybe he's having a good time. Maybe we should have a good time too. Okay, let's go ahead and bring that arm back to the center, switch sides. So again, reach across, palm towards the ceiling, reach behind. When you get into this position, make sure to breathe. You can even add a little bit of massage if you like. Just massaging into the front side of the shoulder. And just feel the support of the ground underneath you. You know, sometimes we don't go into these positions very often. So when we do, we hold unnecessary tension. So let go. You're safe. You're on the ground. The ground is very good at supporting you. So develop your relationship with the ground. Switch sides. And one more time. Switch sides. Okay, guys, let's come to a standing position, please. So I don't care how you get there, come to standing, and we're going to do mobilization or stretching for the spine. So we're going to use flexion, and we're going to use a little bit of extension. So first and foremost, what you're going to do is you're going to breathe in, and you're going to extend through the spine. As you exhale, you're going to hinge forward at the waist, and after you've reached the end range of your hips, you can round through the back and just let the back round so that you can get a nice gentle stretch through the back side of the body. You can hang on to your elbows, release the tension in your neck and shoulders, alternating bending one knee at a time. Just really opening up and relaxing through that entire posterior chain. And then from here, I'm going to bend my knees. I'm going to press through the crown of the head and come back into standing. Press the glutes forward. So I'm pressing through the hips. And then, like a fountain coming through the top of my head, I'm reaching and opening up my chest. So this is the extension. Okay, inhale. Again, as you exhale, hinging forward at the waist. One last time. Nice and gentle. Nice and relaxed. And again, using any variation to work for you. Okay. So from here, we're going to do some step back lunges with our rotational reach and then come right back up to standing. So this is our last movement series. So you're stepping back, reaching back, and then coming right back. So this is where you start to control that heartbeat, how you start to control what's happening in your body, slowing down your breathing. Reaching and back, feeling nice and strong through those hips, being very mindful of how you're facilitating this particular movement pattern. Reach. You can even add another reach the other direction. Back, in, press. back, reach, reach. This should feel really good on your hips, your shoulders, nice and active through the front and back sides on both hips. Hinge, step forward one more time, other side, hinge, step back, and reach. Reach the other way. Nice and slow. Okay, guys, hinge at the hip, come to standing. Let's lower ourselves back to the ground and get into some recovery. So laying on your back, please. Nice and comfortable position. We're going to do a couple nice bridges first. So what we're going to do is our feet flat on the ground. We're going to draw our belly button towards our spine, tucking our butt underneath. We're going to press through the heels, lifting our hips up into the air. Okay? From here, inhale, exhale. As you exhale, we're going to lower ourselves back towards the ground, one vertebrae at a time. So I'm imagining my spine elongating. So it's like I'm taking the tip of my tailbone and I'm stretching it as far away from my head as I possibly can as each vertebrae comes back down onto the ground. Now once it gets here, I'm going to relax. I can even drop my knees from one side to the other. And again, these movements are really good for massaging those internal organs. Okay? Let's go ahead and do another bridge, please. So again, set yourself into position first. Draw your belly button towards your spine. Tuck your butt underneath. Press through the heels. Nice and strong here. Inhale, exhale once. And then on your second inhalation and exhalation, well, that's when we're going to lower ourselves back down. So inhale. Exhale, let's lower our spine to the ground, one vertebrae at a time. Picture your spine in perfect health. Picture every part of your body that you can think of in perfect health. And if there's a part of your body that isn't in perfect health, picture the reality and the truth, which is that your body's trying to fix it right now. Or even though something hurts, the body's trying to figure out a way to make it better again, without even thinking about it. But if we do think about it, we can enhance that process. So let's do one more bridge, please. So again, get yourself into position, draw the belly button to the spine, tuck the butt underneath, press through the heels. Nice and strong, abdominal muscles are contracted, glute muscles are contracted. You can kind of bring your shoulder blades together underneath the back and just play around with moving through the shoulders. A nice gentle wave of movement through the spine. And then inhale, exhale. As you exhale, let's lower ourselves back towards the ground. Once your butt makes it back to the ground, go ahead and take one full breath cycle there. Nice and relaxed, nice and strong. Let's go ahead and massage each one of our knees. So I just like to take my hand and cup my knee in any position and just flex and extend that knee. Rotate through the leg bone. It's nice and easy. Okay, switch sides, same exact thing. So just massaging on the knee. Flex. Extend. Adding little variations as you go. Let's go ahead and straighten both legs. Arms can come out to the side. We're going to bring one leg up towards the ceiling and reach it across the body. Inhale, exhale. As you exhale, let's imagine stretching and relaxing through the entire body. The entire body. Inhale, exhale. Just relax as much as you possibly can. Come back to center. Laying that leg down. Bring the other leg up and across. Inhale, exhale, nice and relaxed. You can rotate through the mat. Add any little variations that are intuited. Come back to center. Let's go ahead and bring our hands to our abdomens, please. And just gently walk your fingers around the abdominal area. Imagine all the parts of your body, all the organs, totally healthy, totally vibrant, totally strong. 70% of the immune system lives in the intestines. Let's make sure that there's no excessive accumulation of gas, right? So we can press that gas out. We can start to bring the body back into a state of relaxation. Serotonin, 95% of it, feel-good hormone, is created in your intestines. So we can help our whole body to feel better just by massaging in this area. This is the place, one of the main places that our body counts on to mitigate or to control inflammation, so that inflammation goes the right direction, which is towards here. Okay, guys, let's go ahead and just take 3 diaphragmatic breaths on your own, inhaling slow and long, exhaling even longer. Every thought that comes into your mind is just a reminder to gently take your attention back into your breath. So breathing in expansively through the lower ribs. Bringing into mind something that you're thankful for, lighting up every cell in your body, charging every cell in the body with the energy of gratitude. Exhale slowly. Breathe one more time. Exhale nice and slow. Okay, guys, draw your belly button to your spine, bend one knee and bend the other knee, rock yourself up to seated. How'd you guys do? I hope you guys had fun. I had a lot of fun, but then again, I always have a lot of fun moving with you guys, so that's a no-brainer. But I hope you guys enjoyed that workout session today. I really hope that you guys tell your family and friends about this class, and I hope that you'll join me next week, same time, same channel. And I also hope that you start to incorporate some of these movements into your current movement practice. Oh, good. I'm glad you thought it was fun. Right on. Aw, thank you, Cindy. Right on. So much fun. Whew. All right, Jake. That's what I'm talking about. So thank you again so much. Please massage your stomachs every single day. Make it a habit, like magnets. Hands, magnets. Stomach, magnets. Start to massage this every day. Make it a habit, especially first thing in the morning. Last thing before you go to bed, massage your abdomen as much as you possibly can. If you take nothing out of my movement practices, except for that, I'd be happy. Breathe and massage your stomach. Those are the 2 main things. So please do that as often as you can. And I look forward to seeing you guys next time.